Our Hall of Fame table is upstairs. We also have these T-shirts. Want a Hall of Fame T-shirt? Cool, cool. They're upstairs as well. So venture up. Go up. All right. So, accordions. We love accordions, right? When I was in the fifth or sixth grade, we lived in San Francisco, and there was a knock at the door. And I remember opening the door, and there was a gentleman standing there, an Italian gentleman, and he wanted to talk to my mom. So my mom came to the door, and he said, my name is Michael Patry, and I teach accordion, and I'm wondering if there's anybody in this house who would like to learn how to play accordion. And my mom said he did. So I played the accordion for about 5 years, was never very good at it, but I learned about the instrument. This is the guy who knows how to play accordion.
Well, it's, they're all squeeze boxes, but this is, as you can see, very different than those big keyboard accordions, which we say chromatic, that's got all the notes of the piano. This is like those little harmonicas that you buy per key that you want to play in. Our wonderful sound man, Jay Van Horn, knows all about those harmonicas. If you play harmonica, you buy them. This is a C accordion. So the trick is, maybe sometimes you play it in that key, actually, but the cool thing is when you play it in the wrong key, which we call cross key. So there's several different ways to do that, and many people know I come from the part of the Bluestein family folk music group, and
Evo Bluestein.
Thank you, Don, for asking me to be part of this. And we've all in our family been interested in different kinds of folk music, and at a certain point, I'd say in the 1970s, Cajun and Zydeco music suddenly caught my attention and the attention of many people around this country, especially because of the dance styles that go with it. To me, it was just another kind of folk music. And because of the wonderful Clifton Chenier, who eventually played those big keyboard accordions, he loved rock music. So he made all those folk Zydeco little dance melodies. At some point, he tried every kind of rock and blues rhythm there was and became the king of Zydeco music. Well, I like the more primitive styles too. So I learned from some of the old timers in Louisiana who play the 1-row accordion or the 2-row and 3-row accordions. And so I dragged one down here for you. Here's an example of how when you play it in the key that it's meant to be played in, you might even have some of the rhythm buttons and chords that go with it. So I'll do one in the key that the accordion was made in so you can hear that, because then it gets weird. This is an old folk tune from Louisiana called Allons danser Colinda, Let's Dance Colinda. We don't know if Colinda was the name of a girl or a kind of dance, but you can sing it with me. It says, Allons danser, let's dance. Allons danser Colinda. And then it goes on to say in French, let's dance Colinda while your mother's not looking. It says, not everybody knows the old-time dances. Let's dance Colinda to make the old ladies mad. Allons danser, Colinda, allons danser, Colinda, allons danser, Colinda, pendant ta mère ne voit pas. C'est pas tout le monde qui connaît danser les danses vieux temps. Allons danser, Colinda, pour faire fâcher les vieilles femmes. Allons danser, Colinda, allons danser, Colinda, allons danser, Colinda, pendant ta mère ne voit pas. C'est pas tout le monde qui connaît danser les danses vieux temps. Allons danser, Colinda, pendant ta mère ne voit pas. Thank you. So, maybe position 2 would be playing a fifth above, and that means you start to get weird in the left side because the chords are just wrong a lot of the time. So, that's Cajun music. If you got an accordion in the band, I always tell the guitar player, listen to what I'm doing, not what I'm doing. But anyway, sometime maybe you'll get to hear Bad Boy Zydeco, my band with, it's the current sound is more typically with drums, electric guitar and bass, maybe a saxophone or fiddle. Saxophone's pretty much replaced the fiddle. But anyway, here's a... Here's something cross-key called J'étais au bal hier soir. It says, I went to the dance last night. And it says, if all goes well, I'll go back tonight and every night because I have such a good time at the dance. And, that's the way people feel in the different folk cultures. This belongs to you. If you're Cajun, this is what you do. J'étais au bal. J'étais au bal hier soir, je vais retourner encore à soir. Si l'occasion se présente, je vais retourner tous les soirs. Gardez donc cette jolie fille, celle-là que j'aime autant. Moi je connais tout l'amour j'ai pour toi. J'étais au bal hier soir, je vais retourner encore à soir. Si l'occasion se présente, je vais retourner tous les soirs. Gardez donc ces jolies filles, ceux-là que j'aime autant. Moi je connais tout l'amour j'ai pour toi. Thank you. Well, I'll finish with yet another key they sometimes play in on accordions like this. Again, wonderfully weird approach to it. You just sometimes have the wrong chords, but once it starts to sound right, then you're really hooked on Cajun and Zydeco music. So if it sounds a little weird to you, good. It should. There's a kind of the Cajun version of Baby Please Don't Go. Baby, please don't go. Baby, please don't go. Oh, baby, please don't go back to New Orleans. You know I love you so. Turn your lamp down low. Turn your lamp down low. Turn your lamp down low. You told me late last night you didn't have to go. Garde donc ti fille, tu me fais quitter. Garde donc ti fille, tu me fais quitter. Hasta t'es gone. Thank you. Thanks, Don.
Is there a quick question? Is there an acoustic guitar out there? Anywhere? Anybody with an acoustic guitar upstairs? You do? Oh, that'd be awesome. Can you bring one up here? Thank you.
Awesome. While Patrick's getting ready, let me tell you that movement that we have towards this new Hall of Fame, it's his fault. Patrick did a Facebook post, I think, about why we needed to have a Music Hall of Fame in Fresno or the Central Valley. And Josh Teehee of the Fresno Bee picked it up and wrote about it in the paper. And that's when Don Fisher, myself, and Ray Settle read that article and decided that it was time to move on and make this happen. So it's all Patrick's fault.
I want to say thank you for inviting me to the board, for being here. I'm certainly not the first with the idea of a Hall of Fame, right? I mean, I'm sure people have been talking about it over the years. I just put a post up on Facebook, and it got a ton of shares, And that's all the part that I did. You guys did the real work here. I remember posting it, and it started getting shares, and all of a sudden the Fresno Beat covered it once, then twice, and then Ray Appleton started covering it. I was driving on the radio. I was like, what? So I called in right there. I was like, hey, that was my post you're talking about. I was playing the Sports Hall of Fame down the street. I get hired to play it, a couple years. And I thought to myself, here's 3,000 people here to induct a yearly Fresno Sports Hall of Fame. Why in the hell don't we have a Fresno Music Hall of Fame, and why does nobody care? That was what I thought. And in the post, I also said, we need a yearly music awards, because I was down at San Luis Obispo, and they have a yearly music awards every year at their theater, and it's packed with local bands and people, and I just thought, we're bigger than Slow. Why the heck are they doing this? So I just put this stuff in a post, and I guess it got some attention. So here we are. And I'm kind of surreal that, thank you. A few people have written, different organizations said they're going to start something, but this is the first one I've seen that actually taken legs. I know when you talk about Fresno Hall of Fame, Music Hall of Fame, you're going to get automatically blues and rock, probably going to get the most attention. But I'd like to say two things. My advice is whatever's going to happen is going to happen, would be don't forget two things. Major contributions here is the Chicano Hispanic music from the 30s and the 40s. I had an uncle named Manuel Contreras who had a mambo orchestra and would play every Sunday at the Rainbow Ballroom and would pack it. And he's not the only one. So that, and I also want to say that when you think of major names from Fresno, first name for me, everybody's going to say something different, but Audra McDonald is the first name that comes, right? But the next name is an artist named Fashawn, who is a hip-hop artist from Fresno. Grew up not too far from me at First and Shields, and plays all around the world and has a world following, and his name doesn't get mentioned. So what I want to say is to make sure you don't forget the hip-hop contribution that Fresno's put. Dancing, pop locking dancing was invented here on Fulton Mall. And I just want to say it's not about genres we like, it's about who's had success in Fresno as a musician. So just want to make sure that those two things, among everything, also Hmong music. I want to say that Hmong music is a big part of Fresno, Minnesota. And my buddy used to play in a Hmong band, and they would play at the Rainbow Ballroom again, and it would be packed with thousands of Hmong kids. That's got to mean something that happened in Fresno. So, okay, I said my piece. I'm getting off my soapbox now. When I started as a musician, I was 4 in Fresno. But when I started as an artist, it was with this guy right here, Steve Ono. I was at Fresno State, and I was studying classical music, and I was intensely into that. And I was already doing the whole thing where I think Janice might know this, where you drive up the 99 and you play in orchestras and you're working, right? And totally fascinated. And there was one day I heard a record. I was in the Fresno State Library. I didn't have money to buy records, so I used to go and listen to music up there and just soak up all the violin stuff I could. And there was this artist that I heard named Stefan Grappelli, who plays jazz swing music. And I just thought, what is that? Violin can play jazz? And so I wanted to learn how to play jazz. And of course, no teachers could teach me that in the violin world in Fresno. At least they didn't have the capability, even if they wanted to. And so I had to sort of just go to the CD and copy. And anyway, I went on Craigslist, and I just saw a musician jam at the Fulton Mall. And that was put up by Steve Ono. And I answered, and I went down and met Steve, and thus started, I would say, my journey as an artist. So, very important, Steve Ono. So with that said, I'm gonna play a few things for you tonight, but I just wanna play a couple things that Steve and I did together. Let's do a little All of Me to just warm it up, and then we'll go from there. Thank you. All right. Next, we're going to play a tune that Steve and I wrote together. And it's one of those, it's a tune that we just sort of, it happened, it came up with. And what's interesting is I'll have literally people from all around the world. It's kind of got a folk sound. And I'll have kids from like Romania covering this song or something. I'm saying, this is so random. I didn't even think that would happen. Who would want to create something that I did? You know, not Steve, I wouldn't want to create him, but why would they want to create my stuff? And so it's a tune that somehow resonated with some people, and it's just called Heart of the Valley. Steve Ono.